How's it going, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me today. First off, you may have noticed some changes to the channel. The logo has changed. The name has changed as well. I decided that the reason that most people come to this channel is for the Huddle breakdown. So I'll simplify things and make it easy for you to find the channel. That doesn't mean the rest of the stuff is going. The solo videos are going to continue. The Monday breakdown is hopefully going to make a return. And there's going to be some more previews and hopefully some interviews as well over the course of the season. I wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone who has watched, subscribed, listened to anything to do with the channel and the podcast. Without you, we would not be able to get these things done. And everything that comes into this channel in terms of ad revenue, that goes back into mics, cameras, lights, and everything that improves the show now, including the professionally designed logo and art that's going to be across the channel for the next season. So thank you very much to everyone who has watched and subscribed and liked and commented and anything to do with the channel. Now to today's video, it is a tactical breakdown of how RB Leipzig played against Bochum at the weekend with their forward play in focus. The way that they played does worry me slightly. You'll see why in the video, but I do think Celtic are good enough to get a result here. But this is a tactical breakdown of the RB Leipzig forward play. So this is how Leipzig lined up in their 4-0 win against Bochum at the weekend in the Bundesliga. And this is how they have been lining up essentially under Marco Rose in a 4-2-3-1 formation. And this forward line is key for them. This is what I'm going to concentrate on in this video because I think Celtic aren't going into this game as favourites. Yes, they're going to try and pose their game on Leipzig, but likelihood is that they're going to have to deal with this front four of Leipzig and how they play. So they start off in a 4-2-3-1 formation. Nkunku, who's going to be a Premier League footballer next year, going to Chelsea. He's a key man for them. Timo Werner at the wing. We know what Timo Werner is like at this point. Silva up front. And this guy, who I cannot pronounce his name, so I'm not going to attempt to, he plays out on the right wing for them. So that's how they line up. 4-2-3-1 formation under Marco Rose. Fairly straightforward. Or is it? So if you come to the pitch, this is how Celtic are going to line up in their 4-3-3 formation. This is probably going to be Jens, and this is probably going to be Welsh, because it looks like Cameron Carter-Vickers is going to be fit for this game. He wasn't in the training earlier on today, and Starfelt is still a doubt for this game. So it looks like it's going to be the back four that played against Motherwell, with Juranovic here, Greg Taylor here, Jens here, and Stephen Welsh here, with Cal McGregor in front. This is probably going to be O'Reilly with Hatate, then Jota, Kyogo, and there's rumours, whether they're true or not, that Abada won't be available for this game because of religious reasons. So this could be Maeda up front for Celtic, but who knows? That's unconfirmed reports that I'm going off in terms of the Abada situation. So if you think about the way that Celtic attack, will bring Leipzig back a little bit, because they will be defending if Celtic are attacking for obvious reasons. So Leipzig are going to come in like this a little bit, narrow the pitch in. Or fullback Juranovic is going to be tucking in because they invert. Greg Taylor does something similar. And we'll bring our midfielders up a little bit. So this is how Celtic attack. Celtic attack through the middle here, through this little triangle, and then through our wingers coming in and giving even more options. So it's almost like a triangle shape here. That's how Celtic attack. Now Celtic can get loads of space when it comes to Leipzig because they bring it in narrow. So you'll have all of our players moving well up here. Celtic play a high line. So they bring it in narrow with all these players suffocating the midfield. The amount of players in there, they always have an option, and then they explode through our wingers. Jota getting out wide, Maeda getting out wide. Matt O'Reilly generally comes to this position, giving an option to get a cross in to Jota coming in the back post. Something like that. That's generally how Celtic attack. That's how Celtic get all of their chances. They overload the midfield, and then they contract, and then they pounce into some wide play. So we'll reset this into how Leipzig attack and why I would be slightly worried about this game and the manner in which Celtic defend it. So I've pushed us forward. This is as if Celtic were just on the attack, and this is where I think Leipzig can be dangerous against Celtic. So obviously we need to move these back here slightly a touch, but if you think about the way the Celtic attack, they're very, very narrow, they're very, very compact in midfield, and I spotted one thing with the Leipzig attack at the weekend that worries me slightly when it comes to playing against Celtic. So this is how Celtic will naturally be generally when they're attacking. Naturally. So let's imagine the attack breaks down, ball starts off with the Leipzig goalkeeper. It's not a counter-attack, it's just a normal attack. They're building up through the lines as normal. Leipzig actually push their right winger quite wide. They push Timo Werner quite wide. And they almost attack in this 4-2-4 formation, which I think was a deliberate ploy that they did at the weekend against Bochum in practice for playing against this Celtic side. Because if Celtic are playing with their inverted wingers, in Juranovic here, Greg Taylor here, naturally they're starting off way up here and naturally in a little bit because they're inverted. So they're coming back like this. So I think what Leipzig are going to attempt to do, so this is Nkunku. Nkunku is going to try get in behind Stephen Welsh. Silva is going to run down the channels, and they're going to try get the ball into this position here, over the top of Greg Taylor, over the top of Juranovic. And if you think about the way that Shakhtar actually got some really excellent play and chances against Celtic, it was balls over the top against Juranovic, balls over the top against Greg Taylor, and exploiting this massive space in the Celtic defence. That is going to be an issue. That's going to be something Celtic are going to have to deal with. The counter-attack is another issue altogether. I don't think the counter-attack is the main issue here. I think it's actually when Leipzig come into this 4-2-4 attacking formation, they're very, very quick in doing so. Timo Werner's lightning quick. We know what he's like. Nkunku is really quick. Silva is hard-working. He's not as quick as the rest of them. But they're very, very explosive players. They're going to try outpace Celtic this week. That's how they're going to try play. Counter-attack is a big, big issue as well. But I think the biggest danger is when they fall into this 4-2-4 formation going forward. I think that's when they're going to get some real chances against Celtic. How do you stop that? Well, Cal McGregor's going to have to work very, very hard. It's going to require some extra work from Jota getting back. Likewise with Maeda. Jota has been a little bit iffy in terms of his defensive work rate against Champions League opposition, exploited quite well by Real Madrid. Jota is going to have to work his absolute nuts off to get back and help Greg Taylor as Celtic fall in to shape in defence. They're going to have to, if there's a 4-2-4 formation playing for Leipzig, this is how Celtic are going to have to defend it. They're going to have to get men back and fall in to a deep, almost 6 at the back, 5 at the back formation in order to deal with that. So I think it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a big game. It's going to be a tactical game. I think Celtic can win it. This isn't a negative preview of the game. This isn't me saying that Celtic can't actually win this game. All I'm highlighting here is some of the danger that RB Leipzig have going forward and why they do what they do, and why I think their game against Bochum at the weekend was a tester match for this 4-2-4, and they were set up in order to beat Celtic as opposed to Bochum, and they won 4-0 at the weekend. So I'm slightly concerned about this game, but I'm still optimistic that the Celtic attack is good enough, even if the defence doesn't hold true. So that's how Leipzig played against Bochum at the weekend in terms of their forward play. It is going to cause Celtic some problems. Hopefully not too many problems. Hopefully Celtic will be on the attack for a large majority of this game, and hopefully they will get a result on the table as well. What do you think? How do you think Celtic are going to get on against Leipzig tomorrow night? Let me know in the comments below, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We'll chat to you later, folks. Good luck.